How many times a day do you beat yourself up? How many times do you say things like, you should not have said what you said? You shouldn't have chosen the things that you did choose to do, or you should not have eaten what you ate. You should be thinner than you are. You should be smarter. You should be prettier. You should get more done. And then you call yourself all kinds of names like a bad Christian, an unkind person, a selfish person, stupid, lazy, all kinds of names, right? And does that sound like you? I mean, even like today, how many times have you beat yourself up today? Well, today I'm going to help you to understand why it is you do this, why you beat yourself up. And I'm actually going to give you 4 reasons. And you know what? Those may not even be what you're expecting. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Tawnya Kordenbrock. I am the person behind arenewedlife.com and the creator of the online Mastering Emotions program, where I help Christian women to rewire their brains so that they can break free from fear, anger, and shame to be able to love themselves, to feel loved by others, and to have a deeper relationship with God. Now, I hope you will stay till the end of this teaching today, because I want to let you know about a special online free training that I'm going to be doing soon, and I don't want you to miss that. And the first reason that you criticize yourself and beat yourself up is because you believe that criticism is true. And this is because let me first tell you that is very common. And I see that in all of the women who come into my Mastering Emotions program, because that part of them that is so critical toward themselves is very loud and wants them to believe that this criticism is true, and that's all they can see are the negative aspects. So what's going on with that? Well, when an unsettling or fear-inducing, disappointing or hurtful situation occurs, then that is going to create an emotional response in you, right? That's very normal. Nothing wrong with that. But if you have had significant hurts from your past, significant disappointments, fearful situations, then the emotional part of your brain, when it detects those emotions coming up, it is going to kick into gear a pattern that has been learned. It was learned from those old hurts. And this pattern kicks in, and with this pattern comes a response that includes the things that you think, that you tell yourself are true. It's going to also influence your physical response, whether you withdraw from the person and hide away, or the situation, you shut down, or you can kick into gear with becoming more aggressive, becoming more controlling, or just getting hyper busy. But whatever your physical response, with those emotions are going to come those automatic thoughts that for you are self-critical, that put you down. And because that pattern has been there for so long, then you believe that all of these thoughts are absolutely true. Now, the second reason why you beat yourself up is because you believe it will cause you to change, or it will keep you from getting worse. Now, I saw this especially in a woman that I worked with who felt like if she didn't criticize herself, then she would become arrogant. And so, I think this is a common belief for some reason that somehow we believe that if we shame someone and even shame ourselves, that this will produce change, that it will cause the person to do something different, or it will keep them from becoming something that we perceive as even worse. And it really just does not work that way, not at all. And I sometimes also see this with Christians because they tend to think that it is the Christian thing to do to put themselves down and to shame themselves and to make sure that you are clear, what a horrible sinner that you are and what a disappointment you are to God, as though this keeps you from sinning. And it doesn't. It doesn't bring any change in you. And because the change that has to occur is that pattern of response that is there in how you view yourself and how you view others, how you view God, and the principles that his kingdom run on. So criticizing yourself is not going to bring the change that you want. The third reason why you beat yourself up is one that I already talked about just a little bit a moment ago, and that is that this is a pattern that was learned. And it was learned because this is a way of coping with uncomfortable emotions. For instance, when you were younger, perhaps as a child, a young adult, and you had hurt feelings, yet your family didn't respect those feelings, but instead either ignored them or criticized you for having the feelings. Feeling hurt is hard enough to handle, but then if you don't have an outlet and you don't have any way, any knowledge of how to process through those feelings, then you come up with a way to handle it. And normally the way that you handle it is, as a child, you turn back in on yourself. And so you learn to either ignore those emotions or you blame yourself and you call yourself names. So if you, as someone who is so critical toward themselves, this is probably what has happened to you. That this is a way of coping with these uncomfortable emotions of feeling rejected, feeling hurt, fearful of what's going to happen. And so this pattern kicks in automatically. Just like one of the women in my program who always calls herself stupid. Every time something happens that is a disappointment, or she is fearful that someone's going to get angry with her, and then what she does is she calls herself stupid. And so the change that needs to occur then is changing this pattern. And this is what she has been able to do. She's learned how to recognize this pattern in herself and to start changing it so that when she starts to call herself stupid, she catches herself. Most of the time, she's in a process with this, as you will want to be also, but she is catching herself, and she through the program is learning new ways to deal with those uncomfortable emotions. Now, the fourth and final way, a reason that you beat yourself up, is because you are in agreement with someone from your past, someone who was very important to you. And not only are you in agreement with them, but you are in agreement because there's a part of you that cares so much, that so much one wants relationship with this person, or so much desired relationship in your childhood with this person, that you are remaining in alignment with them, to have connection with them. I know that sounds strange, and it takes a little bit of thought to be able to understand how this works. But if you consider, for instance, as a child, let's see there, let me give you an example. A woman who in my program, well, the one I just told you about a moment ago, who called herself stupid all the time. And she had her siblings were always calling her stupid, always belittling her. Her parents, especially her mother, went along with this and said demeaning things to her, hurtful things to her frequently. And so now, as an adult, there's still that part of her that wants to have relationship with them. And of course, she would want to have relationship with them. These people are very dear to her, even though they were, I mean, actually abusive toward her. Yet they're important. You know, they're the people who are closest to us, the ones that we grew up with. And so, as we have looked at this with her, she has been better able to understand why it is that this part of her that wants to criticize herself, how it is trying to remain in connection with these people who have been so important in her life. And actually, for her, this has been a process of grief, of recognizing, yeah, I beat myself up because I'm trying to be in agreement with them so they can actually, hopefully, love me. And then realizing that's not what she wants. That's not the kind of relationship that she wants to have with them. So as you think about this, my guess is you're going to come to the same realization, hopefully you will, that that is not the kind of relationship that you want to have with this person or people from your past either. So in review, the 4 reasons that we have looked at, first of all, is that you believe that this criticism is true. The emotional part of your brain that is responding is convincing you that the evidence that it's picking up on and the thoughts that it is telling you are absolutely true about you, that you are as bad as what it is telling you you are. And then the second reason that you beat yourself up is that you believe that you need it in order to change, that it's going to keep you in your place, it's going to keep you from getting worse, and it's going to cause so much shame that you will do something different to change. And then the third reason is that this is a learned pattern that developed as a way of coping with uncomfortable emotions, that you had no other route to deal with them, no other way to deal with them. And so this developed within you, and it's still occurring in you today, even as an adult woman. And then the last reason that we looked at is that this pattern, this part of you that's criticizing you, beating you up, is actually in agreement with someone from your past. A mom, a dad, siblings, a coach, a teacher, people that you looked up to, people that you loved, who were supposed to support you and build you up, but didn't do that. And so this is a way of staying connected with them and feeling like, this is gaining acceptance from them if you are in agreement with the way that they have viewed you. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments below and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And, something that I wanted to throw in here, I forgot to say, is that, you know, criticizing yourself, beating yourself up is not the way to bring change. Because if you think about it, you have been working so hard to change yourself. And, this is why I have my Mastering Emotions program. If you want to check that out, feel free to do that and see if it's right for you. But also, today I want to let you know about a free training that I have coming up. And it is called 3 Secrets to Healing Childhood Trauma in Women. And I hope you will sign up for that now so that you don't miss it. I've done this webinar before and it's been a great hit. People have just learned so much from it, and I think you will also. Thanks for being with me today. Have a great day.